No, literally. No, you know what? What brought you in today, Lucy? What motivated you to say yes to coming on to here with me?
I think I've always had issues kind of branching out, and right now I'm in the master's program with you for clinical mental health counseling. And I've always had kind of a weird relationship with how I portray myself on social media and things like that, and the idea of not having control over my image if it's on social media or something like that. Like the idea of going viral terrifies me. Things like that have always seemed really like frightening.
Okay.
And so I thought this was kind of going to be a form of exposure therapy to come on and be like, all right, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to do this, and it's going to be great, and it'll be totally innocuous and fun.
So let's talk about being pansexual. Let's just dive into it, you know?
Let's dive. Yeah, let's dive.
What was your experience like coming out? How did people react? How did you feel?
For me, I feel like I've always known that I was pansexual or at least bisexual.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess to kind of answer your question, I have to start from where I grew up, which was a pretty small town in North Carolina, very like Bible Belt, pretty like conservative, but my household was very liberal, which was really great and very beneficial growing up. The like earliest queer people that I remember in my life were put there very intentionally by my mom.
Okay.
So there was intentionally, yeah.
Okay.
So like I love this tidbit. I learned it, I don't know, maybe when I was in high school. My mom shared this with me. There was this hairdresser in my hometown, and his name is Roger Rumpel.
Okay.
And he's a sweetheart, and him and his partner Randy, they were like a long-term couple, and Roger ran a salon in our hometown, and he also helped a lot of the like local women out with like their pageant looks and their big hair and their makeup and their lashes and stuff.
Yeah, love it.
It was really great. But my mom, she was very like dead set on having us, me and my brothers, around people from all walks of life.
Okay.
So she, even though I love you, Roger, if you're watching this, but she always came back from her haircuts like really upset because she was like, he messed up my bangs.
Oh,
he did me
man.
wrong. Like,
He
she
did
would
it
always
wrong.
like
Oh,
have
no.
something to nitpick about her hair, but she kept going back with us in tow because she knew that it was important and because he was her friend too.
Yeah.
So that to me taught like empathy, and it also taught me how like stuff like that is more about like the connections that you make with people too. So I thought that was really sweet. But because of that, I was able to find this little like bubble of like queer identity in a very early stage of my life, in an otherwise kind of like homogenized hetero cisgendered environment. So it was really nice. So
I love that. I really love that idea that she was so open to you guys just meeting a variety of people.
As a parent, you're so protective of what you have built for your child, probably, that you want to like keep that kind of hermetically sealed and not expose it to things that'll corrupt that identity. But I'm the kind of person that thinks that everybody should try everything once and maybe twice if they like it. I knew also at a young age that I had feelings towards women and men, and I would chase everybody down. There was no real discernment there. I was just like, I like you, I'm gonna try and kiss you kind of thing, which is not good because consent is key. But when you're like 4 years old or whatever and you're running around like you're just living life. You're living life, and there's no like real filter. There's no social filter. There's no sense of like shame or guilt too.
Right.
And so that got introduced later on in life. I remember my brother coming to me at a very specific moment of my childhood, and we were pretty close, and he told me, he confided in me that he thought that he might be gay. And for me, it didn't really affect me, but I just kind of like kept it as a secret in the back of my mind. And I had that in the back of my mind while I would watch him you know, have girlfriends and take girls to the prom.
Right.
And it was always in the back of my head, like, oh, okay, so he can cover for himself and he can be a normal person. And even though, like, in my diary, I would talk about, like today I went underneath my treehouse and I kissed my friend who was a girl or something. What people like to say is experimentation, but I really like to think that it is just us living out our impulses without any shame or guilt there.
Yeah.
But I think whenever my brother came out to me privately, I was able to kind of say, okay, all right, I can see where this goes and I can figure things out for myself, but for now I think I'm straight. There's a point where I had written in my diary that I had kissed some girl at a sleepover, and both of my brothers came to me and made fun of me for it. And I felt so shamed and so hurt that I was like, all right, well, I'm going to put that under the rug for a long time now and not address that for a very long time. And even then, like, I was feeling serious, like, attraction towards girls in my grade. And I remember feeling like there was actual chemistry between me and one girl whenever she came over. And for a lot of reasons, including her background and religious upbringing, I decided not to act on anything. But in hindsight, I'm like, I should have just like went for it. You know, I feel like so many people box themselves in for, you know, preconceived notions of morality and stuff like that. And I mean that just like with like religion, but
society has made us create a box for ourselves, and we are shoving ourselves in this tiny box that we do not fit in.
You're in that age of figuring things out and making sure that what you're doing is like going with the status quo and fitting in with everyone, because it's a terrifying time. I mean, I would always find women attractive, but I would never like kind of branch out and say why. But then I also started getting online a lot more and exploring a lot more, like, I don't know, there was like pornography and all the other things that I was looking into.
That's fine.
And
we all gotta figure. That's how we all
gotta figure it
out. Because you know what, I read that there's a lot of parents that don't actually talk to their kids about sex.
And my parents, they both come from a medical background, so they were very clinical about it. And I think this is probably for the best. There were never any conversations about pleasure or masturbation or anything like that. So I kind of left that to my own devices. And as I was on the internet, which, like, I'm 30, so the internet when I was in like late middle school, early high school was a little bit different, a little bit more like
graphic.
I was very careful with how I like researched.
I was gonna say worded everything out into Google.
Yes. And it was like, I don't know, I think like after a year of like consistently looking at porn, I was like, I'm looking at a ton of lesbian porn, and I think this has a lot to do with my own like sexual desires. But I was also maintaining like really loving relationships with, you know, your first high school love or whatever. I was dating guys and having like a really meaningful connection and having a deep like sexual connection with these people too as you're coming of age. So I was confused. And then end up in college, and at this point I'm like, girls are hot, but I don't know what to do. And then I actually started, because it was becoming less and less stigmatized, I started meeting and talking to more genderqueer people and more people that were trans, and I was like, oh, these people are really, there's a lot of hot people in this group as well. What is happening here? There's a lot of hot
people here too.
There's so many people that have so many identities, and I think that's lovely that there are so many different expressions of who somebody is. I mean, if you're attractive to me, you're attractive to me. And that's, I don't really overanalyze it further than that. So I did go on one Tinder date with a girl, and it ended so awkwardly because I had no idea what I was doing once it came time to like actually hook up. she lived her life as like a lesbian.
Yeah. And this is your first time?
It was my first time. And I was like, oh my God, what is happening?
Yeah.
Like I thought of myself as very experienced. I was a proud, proclaimed like slut, you know, I was taking my own identity in my hands. But whenever I was faced with this situation that I hadn't had any experience in, I just completely froze up. And then I was like, it was so disappointing. It was so disappointing. For me, sexual identity has really been like a buildup of taking all of these experiences and taking the courage to just like, this is what I'm going for. I'm going to initiate it kind of thing. Because I think as women, we're also taught to be very passive in the way that we carve out our own sexual identities. Yeah. And so once I felt like I had more of a handle on who I was and had been with like a few people from different genders, I was like, I guess I could come out to people now. And one thing that was holding me back for a while though, with my brother, he wasn't holding me back specifically.
Okay.
But I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't stepping on anything that would take away from his experience as a gay man growing up in the South.
Okay.
Because that experience, as I perceive it, was very painful for him and very tumultuous and took a lot of work to come to a healthy place. And so I also didn't want to be like, oh, by the way, I'm gay too.
Hey, guess what?
As like a youngest child, there's this dynamic of having it easy. I think the oldest, they always get like the strictest upbringing because the parents are like overly conscientious.
It's their first baby. Like they know they want to figure it out and get it right. Then the middle is a little forgotten.
The middle is like,
we did it once, we could do it again. We're good.
I don't ever want to call my brother forgotten ever. I didn't want to have my ease in life as a woman who is coming out as pansexual undercut the struggles and the difficulties that he went through as a gay man in the South. To this day, it's so annoying when we go home and it's at the neighborhood bar and you'll see people judging and being shitty. He has always been like a really strong like mentor in my life without him realizing it. Both of them are like, they're both like really dynamic, intelligent people. And my brothers are incredible. So I was like, well, if he can do it, I'll do it. And so I took Facebook, since I'm a 30-year-old millennial, and I went on Facebook I think like 2 or 3 years ago, and I made this post during Pride Month, and I was like, by the way, I'm pansexual, and if anybody makes any jokes about pan pizza, I will cut you.
Pan pizza, I can't.
So
that's
bad.
A joke?
I hate it, yeah.
Wait,
it's
what's
so
the
annoying.
joke? Wait, people just say like
oh, you're like pansexual, like pan pizza? Like, I don't know. I need
what?
to find
okay,
like
that's
meme.
terrible.
It's
okay.
It's stupid. It's fine.
What?
But yeah, I came out. And when I came out, before I sent it out on my like status or whatever, I texted my group of friends from when I've known this core group of friends since like kindergarten. Yeah. And I was like, hey, I'm pan. And they were like, we know, like, okay. And then I told my parents and they were like, okay, cool.
Yeah, okay.
Like everybody knew.
Oh, okay.
And nobody, that's the thing, like I never faced any adversity coming out.
Yeah.
Ever. And that was the other reason why I was so reticent to share it, because it's like, because I really was asking myself, who cares? You know?
Honestly, like I thought about it too. I was like, if my child has to come out and tell me that they're gay, I expect, because I want to have 2 or 3 kids, I expect my other child to come out and say that they're straight. Why
is coming out nowadays a necessary part of somebody's journey as a queer person? And that's what I was battling with too. But I also just wanted people to know.
Yeah.
So
it's a discovery for yourself, for your identity. Yeah. So in a way, it's like it's a step in accomplishing something. Like I know me.
I think it's really important for people for opening up dialogues with their family members. Yeah. Like I know a lot of people that come out and it feels really dangerous to them because their parents don't accept them. Yeah. Once they say those words, it's like, okay, you're dead to us. Like, it's very hard. Yeah. But I almost felt embarrassed feeling the need to share my own identity because I, as a white, like, cis het presenting person, it's like, yeah, who cares? Another liberal white lady coming out as bi or pan, it's like a drop in the ocean.
Yeah. Is it more acceptable to be bi or pan than it is acceptable to be gay or lesbian? Because I feel like for some families it's like, okay, well, there's still a chance that they might go for the opposite gender.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of what's running through my head right now.
I think there's also, like, people, whenever they say they're bi or pan to somebody that's homophobic, they think, oh, they're just confused, or like we haven't lost them completely.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And that's where the erasure part comes in. But I think, it just depends on the family dynamic.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. But for my parents, they were just like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever.
Your mom especially was so open to, like, having you experience these different people. I would be surprised if she was upset with you. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, because it's like, well, I introduced you to these people, so it's like...
Right. I posted a status this past year during Pride Month. I was just like, hi, from your favorite pansexual person, whatever. And this guy who I used to do like pre-games with in college.
Okay.
This guy was like my neighbor. He would hang out with like the group of guys that were next door to our apartment, and said something about how it was an abomination. And I was like, I mean, if you think that's an abomination, I'm so sorry, my guy.
Oh my God.
But whenever I see comments like that on people who are gay, I'm like, who are you? Like, get to me in a normal way.
Yeah, in a normal way.
Fanatic. Like, it's too easy for me to write these people off. I got a little bit of a hate crime story here.
Okay.
I went on a date with a girl. Like a week or two later, we went out, she and I, to this like brewery, and then to like a little dive bar that was playing some music. And we're drinking, we're having a good time.
Okay.
And eventually we go into the bathroom together.
Okay.
And, you know, things get interesting.
Got a little heated.
There.
Yeah.
And while we're in there, though, we weren't there for like 5 minutes. I hear somebody go into the next stall, and then they come out. And then it can't be 30 seconds later, there's pounding on the door.
Okay.
And then a man comes into the bathroom, a full-grown man into the women's bathroom. You know, in the state where they're so interested in keeping trans people out of bathrooms that they need to use.
Okay.
I just thought it was really ironic that a man was coming into the women's bathroom. And he was like, you need to get your clothes on right now. And he steps out, and I was like, okay. And we're just laughing it off. We're putting our clothes on because we think that we're just gonna, you know, go back out.
Right. Yeah.
We'll be out of the bathroom. And we walked out. This guy grabs me by the arm. He grabs my friend by the arm and is like, you're done. You're out. She didn't even get to grab her stuff, her card. And I think she was charging her phone behind the bar too. She didn't get to grab any of her things.
Yeah.
They threw us out. I was like, are you telling me right now that if a guy and a girl were making out,
it'd be totally fine?
I mean, it felt like that.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to make it all like, but it really felt like it was kind of a targeted thing.
Yeah.
Because there were only 10 people in that bar too.
Yeah.
It's
okay,
like,
so they were able to kind of really nitpick at what's happening.
Yes. It's like, and we were kind of, you know, affectionate during the sets.
Oh,
like,
so they were definitely
we
watching you.
Yeah.
Okay.
It felt crazy to me though.
Yeah, no, definitely. Because really?
Yeah, really. It's like, this is...
Can't mind your business for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Like...
And it's also like, I mean, I get it. Like, save that stuff for home. But if I'm in a single stall...
Yeah.
Like... cares? I'm not hurting anybody.
You know, it's so funny. I was actually talking to a friend, and he was telling me that in the countries he's visited, sex is just sex. Like, it is what it's just another form of saying hi, not another form of saying hi, but it's just sex, you know? But in America, it's so reserved and private, and it's like,
we're so puritanical about this stuff.
It's just like, oh my God, like, I can't believe you did that. But it's just like, a girl will approach another guy, he told me, in Italy, and she's like, yeah, you want to fuck or what?
That was how I was in college.
Yeah,
that
and
was
it's like,
what I would do. I would be like,
it's not a big deal. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's not a big deal.
Just say what you want, and then you can carry on. Yeah. Or, you know, let people be, and don't make them feel like shit. Like,
it's a human thing.
Yeah.
It's a human thing. It's a natural human thing to do. So why do we make it seem so shameful when we talk, even just talking about it, you know?
Right.
I remember I saw two people in a stall one time, and it was a guy and a girl. And I was like, oh my God. I was at a club. And I was like, I think they're in there, you know, doing it. I was drunk as hell.
Sure.
I was drunk as hell. And my friend was like, all right, Michelle, like, let's go. And I was just like, be safe, guys. Just be safe. It's like, that's all I want. That's all I want for them. It's just to be safe, okay?
Girl, we love that.
I was like, I don't care what you do, but it's 2 a.m. Be safe.
Be safe. Be safe. Oh my
Literally.
God. Yeah, well, that's like a whole other conversation. I could talk for hours about the way that this country handles sex and sexual identity problems. It's like one of the reasons why I'm in grad school now, is so that I can become a sex therapist and an advocate for certain groups. But yeah, that was like I forgot about that instance, but it was so mind-blowing when it happened to me. I was just like, did I get hate crimed? And the girl I was with, she was like, I think we were hate crimed.
Yeah. Okay, so you were thinking and she just said it, and it was like, all right, so we're on the same page. Perfect. Okay.
Oh,
all right.
God. I never had any hang-ups with how I identified myself. It was just the way that I wanted to share it with people.
Yeah.
Because I was so worried about sharing something and then my brother being like, really? Like, you're gonna take that too?
It was your oldest or second oldest?
Second oldest.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Of course it's the middle child. Of course you took her from the middle child. Why not?
Oh man. Yeah.
But thank you so much, Lucy, for coming on here with me today. And I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to close this. So
bye.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess bye. Subscribe and like and share, I guess.
Smash
right?
that like button.
There you go. Just like that. Smash it.